Zach Easter. He was like any other high school kid, played football, and he was in love.
But what was happening inside of him became too much. News 5's Lauren Brill talked to the love of Zach's life and shows us how now she's trying to help turn tragedy into hope.
Yeah, guys, you got your bell rung. You're seeing stars. For a long time, head injuries in sports were often dismissed. In the last few years, there's been a lot more attention on the dangers of concussions, especially in the NFL. But this young woman knows it's not just professional athletes who need to be careful.
International law and national security law is what I'm really interested in.
Alison Epperson is driven. Law school.
Just started my 4th semester.
Here at Case.
I would love to go into work for the government.
It's tough. But with her, a man who believed in her dreams and her heart. Zach Easter, her boyfriend.
Just this ambitious, fun-loving, outgoing, charismatic guy.
They met in high school in Iowa, where Zach played football.
He's one of those guys who was shorter and not as big as the other guys, but way incredibly more powerful in his punch than the other guys. And that's because he used his head. He wasn't afraid to do that.
But he did have a fear, and he shared that secret with her. Headaches, memory problems.
He's like, I just don't feel right. I don't feel normal. And that was the biggest thing, is he didn't feel like himself. He didn't feel like he had control over his mind with no explanation.
Except one. He thought he had CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a disease caused by concussions.
He said, I'm not the same Zach Easter. And I say, I see the same Zach Easter in you every day.
His brain damaged, but his unbroken heart still hers.
I still felt loved. I still had him.
But she didn't. 8 months later, he sent this.
Thank you for everything. You've helped me through so much, and never ever blame yourself for anything. I love you and will always be over your shoulder looking after you no matter what. Always keep having fun. Always remember me. It was one of those situations where like my heart just dropped into my stomach and I knew what was happening but didn't want to believe it. Then his mom called me in the car and told me that he was gone. He shot himself in the heart.
In the heart. The unbroken heart that belonged to her.
He lost himself and kind of gave up on all hope.
Yet hope is exactly what he left behind.
He had very specific instructions of where he wanted his brain to go and what he wanted us to do after he died, so he made sure to preserve his brain.
Not just the brain, journals detailing his downward spiral with CTE.
We rarely have actual writings of their daily life to kind of show us how they are feeling and what this disease is doing to them from their perspective, not just from the perspective of a scientist who's looking at their brain.
Zach's brain confirmed his own diagnosis. Now, Alison continues his fight. She helped create CTE Hope, a foundation in his honor.
He specifically asked me to do this.
What do you think is the most important message that he wanted you to relay, not just to his family, but to the world?
Know when enough is enough and not be afraid to get help and not be afraid to talk to someone about it. And remember that as much as you might love football, it's just a game, and if you need to sit out, you should.
Alison is telling people to protect their brains. In doing so, she holds on to Zach's heart.
CTE Hope, the foundation Alison helped create in Zach's honor, is working with experts to try and develop a saliva test so athletes can determine whether or not they have a concussion for sure. For more information on CTE and CTE Hope, check out the News 5 app. Lauren Brill, News 5.